Nature Talks podcast. Welcome to the Nature Talks podcast if this is your first time. So today we're going to be talking about some more stuff happening with nature. Stuff happening from all around the world. And we get all our information from the internet. The most untrusted source of information. Because you can write anything on the internet, right? But Twitter, our Indiana's Twitter page, has a lot of crazy information coming in from different places. Like in the past couple of days, let me just start with the most recent stuff to the old stuff. So Pune is a place in India. They have just set up ICU, a special ICU unit for heat stroke patients. The heat is so much right now because of all the climate change and deforestation and whatever humanity has done to the planet. So there's people dying because of heat stroke, and now there are special ICU units being set up for the heat stroke patients. I think we need one here in Delhi also. I think Greenpeace has put up a request for a Delhi heat action plan, because right now there's no action plan if there's too much heat. At most they will probably shut down the schools. That's usually done somewhere around mid of May. But yeah, this is in April and it's already so hot. It's gonna get even hotter now. Now in Nagpur, Maharashtra, there was some news about satellite images. So you can see all this stuff on our Twitter page. We've tweeted about it, or retweeted, or we've liked somebody else's tweets. And yeah, you can find all the posts that we are referring to in this podcast. Now, the satellite images show that a lot of trees have gone missing from this place, and till now there's no FIR. So it's really tough to get an FIR in India. In other countries, it's easier. I've seen that. Speaking of other countries, we had to announce that now even Costa Rica is listening to this Nature Talks podcast. So this was it was not anticipated, and now we're getting overwhelming response from all over the world. By all over the world, I mean like 7 countries. And by great response, I mean just a few listeners from here and there. But that's all going to change now. We got talking about this Aike forest in Mumbai. So there was a big movement happening a couple of years back where the forest was going to get destroyed for a metro car shed. So a metro car shed. The metro is like a railway, the latest railway line. So for that, they wanted to build a car shed in the middle of the forest. Many people protested, and right now there's also some cases going on in the court about this. So there's people upstairs making a lot of noise coming in this podcast. Now, inside Aike, there's a court case also going on, but just on the 24th of April, there's a video being posted by Times of India showing that there are people inside the forest who are chopping down the trees with their chainsaws. They're de-greening the country over there to do some profitable projects. And yeah, the people over there are really upset because the forest people who live in the forest over there, they depend on these trees for their daily livelihood. And now if those trees are going, that means their livelihood is also getting affected. So is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? It's the year 2023 now, and humans are able to send man-made objects far across outer space. But with all this advanced technology, creativity, innovation and all that, there are many people who are still not able to coexist with nature right here on this planet, and that is what is messed up. We need to use all our resources. If we ask the youth more about these questions, they will be able to find creative ways to save the trees, the forest, and still do the projects. But the olden ways of thinking, where people are thinking that, oh, it's just one tree or it's just one project, so that's very limited thinking. The population of the world has increased a lot since their childhood, so things have changed. The same projects are happening everywhere, and it's not just one tree being cut. There's millions of people who are cutting only one tree. But what does that account to? Is it a grand total of just one tree, or is it a grand total of a million trees? This is what even residents in Delhi have argued about. I've argued with them. When I was trying to save the tree, they were saying that, oh, but it's just one tree that we're cutting. And then the neighbor was like, yeah, we just want to cut one tree. And somebody else said, it's only one tree that we want to cut. And then I said, okay, look, the grand total is right here. Actually, in total, you all want to cut at least a dozen trees in this neighborhood. So it's not one tree. There's a meme also about this, where it says, it's just, in inverted commas, it says, it's just one tree, said a million people. So that's all the quote that is. And this makes us understand that one tree for a million people is not a grand total of one tree, it's a grand total of a million trees. Now, there's some, I found this blog on Twitter, somebody has posted, it's on thirdview.info. So, yeah, they're talking about the hidden benefits of buying second-hand goods. Now, on the NDNS website also, we had posted about thrifting, thrift stores and all. So it's quite helpful. There are many benefits to this, like it reduces the waste, it's cheaper also, and yeah, you have a backstory to the things that you get. So think about that. Go to this page, thirdview.info. Check out this blog about the hidden benefits of buying second-hand goods. And yeah, try it once in a while. See if it makes a difference. If it's a good experience for you or not. You never know until you try it. And if you try it, you might actually like it. Since summer is here and there's so much talk about the heat wave, people are posting different ways to spread awareness about the importance of the shade from the trees. So there's this one post which is in front of me right now, where there's a comparison where one picture has a lot of trees on the roadsides and the other picture has no trees on the roadsides. It says, what do you think when you see these two images? Which street would be cooler on a hot day? Would you hear bird songs? Would you enjoy walking? Would the cars drive slower? Would you prefer to live on? So think about these kind of things. There's so many things which are connected to just having trees in your neighborhood or around you in the urban environment. Now, speaking of concrete everywhere, there was another article out here. It was about Pune. I don't know why I'm getting so much on my Twitter feed about Pune, but yeah, there's this thing about 3 billion liters of groundwater has been lost. The city has lost 3 billion liters of groundwater because of concretization everywhere. These aquifers, the groundwater table under the ground, which collects all the water, those have all been destroyed, and all these construction projects have happened over there. So imagine 3 billion liters of groundwater. And in other parts of the world, people are suffering from the scarcity of water. People have to carry buckets of water on their head. Here, 3 billion liters of groundwater has just disappeared because of the wrong decisions. If you would have decided to coexist with nature, then maybe you wouldn't have any water problems. Uh, I posted a picture about one of our tree climbing workshops. In that, you can see there were quite a lot of people that day. I think maybe somewhere around 40 people. And we're all standing under the shade of just one tree, 40 people. And we could easily take another 250 people under the same tree because it's so huge and it gives so much shade. And this is just one tree. So the children loved climbing this tree, and I asked the participants there when we were standing under the tree, I asked them that how many of you require an air conditioner right now? So the answer was 0. Nobody raised their hand because everybody was feeling perfectly fine. And this picture was actually clicked around the same time, April, May. This was pre-COVID times, probably in around 2016 or 17. And yeah, it's an old picture, but till now it's roaming around on the internet. Somebody had actually retweeted it. That's how I got my attention on this. This is the hot topic for today, the shade of the trees. And there was one lady who had posted a video on Twitter about, she had this digital thermometer and she was walking around. First she went to the sunlight, the place which had direct sunlight, and she saw the temperature over there. It was so much. And then as soon as she walked under the shade of the trees, the temperature had dropped. Like, can you imagine such an easy thing? But there's such big officers in high posts who don't realize the simple thing, that the trees give us shade and reduce the temperature, and we feel cooler under that. And in the heat wave, people are dying, and still Delhi is removing 5 trees per hour. And they now want to remove 15,000 trees for another project, which is really funny. I mean, they're planning to remove these huge grown trees and plant tiny saplings, which nobody can stand under those saplings. Those saplings range between 1 foot to 5 feet. And they barely have like 10 leaves on it, the bigger saplings. And these saplings weren't planted right now. They were planted like 3-4 years ago. Until now, it's not big enough for us to get shade. Is it really compensated? This is what they call compensatory plantation, when they remove one big tree, plant 10 saplings, and then you have to pretend that everything is equal. But it's actually not. There's no birds that can nest on those saplings. No children can climb it. You can't take shade under it. And it's just a big joke. Whoever believes that compensatory plantation is the perfect system, it's not. It's just a scam. And we're losing so many trees because of this issue. No wonder we're facing all this heat wave and all. So yeah, the lady who made this video, her video is going viral, and all the different news channels are talking about it. So it's definitely an important topic, right? Now, from April 28th to 1st of May, there's a city nature challenge happening, which is an app-based competition that records observation of nature. I'm just reading it off this tweet which has come. It's posted by The Hindu. This is a newspaper. And I think you all should go check this out so that we can do this city nature challenge. Use the app, get some more information, share it with like-minded people. And it's a fun activity to do. I mean, it's better than sitting and looking at the internet, right? So there was another article which said that 20,000 people, this was in The Guardian, 20,000 plus people died in 2022, just last year, in the heat wave in Europe. And Europe is at a higher latitude. Here in India, we had a lower latitude, that means closer to the equator. So it's much hotter over here, and way more people are dying over here. All of them might not be getting reported, but the numbers are pretty high. So are you ready for extreme temperatures? How have you prepared yourself for extreme temperatures? Right now, it's pretty extreme. It's going to get even more extreme. I read somewhere that this is the hottest summer of your life, and it's the coldest summer for the rest of your life. So next year it will be a hotter summer, then hotter, then hotter. So it's not going to get any cooler right now in this lifetime. So I'll say it again, this is the hottest summer of your life till now, and this is the coolest summer for the rest of your life, because things are only going to get worse. Now, if you know about the Cheetah project, our amazing government got some cheetahs from Africa. There's some noise upstairs. I was waiting for that to finish, but it's going to go on for a long time. So from those 2 cheetahs which were brought to India, there was one that died a few days back, which was due to some kidney infection. So they said it's a kidney infection. And now the second cheetah has also died. So the reason has not been shared yet, and the experts are saying that logistically we're not going to be able to manage the cheetahs project in India. But on the other hand, they were also saying that 20 more cheetahs have been put into some captivity, so that whenever one dies over here, it can be replaced by sending another one from Africa down to India. Looking at this, it seems like the cheetahs are being treated like a piece of decoration, like a balloon. So if a balloon bursts, you can always fill up another balloon and put it over there, and the party goes on. So that's what's happening with the cheetahs also. The cheetahs died, now some new cheetahs are going to be put, so that the top people are happy and satisfied. Now, we see that people are planting a lot of trees. People are putting campaigns for planting maybe lakhs of trees at a time. But there's a big problem in this. Who's going to water the trees? What's going to happen to the trees afterwards? We've seen that there's one site here in Delhi where trees used to be planted. Every time trees were cut somewhere, at this place, new trees used to get planted over there. But then there was some more cutting somewhere else in Delhi, and then they came back to do some more plantation at the same site. How is that possible? Because at that site, the old trees died, and I mean the new plantation which they had done, that all died, but maybe never happened. And then another round of plantation happened in the same spot. So this has been repeating over and over again over the years. Different parts of Delhi have lost their trees, and meanwhile at this one spot where the compensatory plantation has been going on over and over again, it's not at all balanced. And now the authorities are saying that there's no place to do compensatory plantation within Delhi, so we should do it in other states. And you know what's going to happen after the other states are also filled up? Well, they'll probably send the trees to other countries. And what happens when that is also done? When India has no more trees left? If this system carries on in other countries also, where are we going to send all the trees? Are we going to send them to the moon? Are you going to send them to Mars? And if you send it to the moon or to Mars, are you still going to get the shade of those trees over here? So this is a real brain scratcher. Many people think that, I don't know how they think this, but they think that if you remove the tree from one place, transplant it to another place, then you will still enjoy the benefits of that tree. But that's extreme BS, and you will not get the shade of the tree unless you're standing directly under it. Now speaking of sending trees to Mars, there was a tweet by Elon Musk saying that he had donated $100 million to Ukraine. So I replied to that saying that Delhi is the most polluted place in the world. So do you want to support this place? I mean, if he donates some to reduce the pollution over here, it would be a good thing. But what about the local people of India itself? What are we doing to reduce the pollution? Or are we just thinking that it's somebody else's job, let somebody else do it? This way, maybe the authorities, they're imagining that the local people will do it themselves. Meanwhile, the residents think that the authorities will do it by themselves. But it actually takes two hands to clap. Everybody has to work together, and then only you can achieve your goals. So you need to get active. If you're not already active, you need to start doing something about it. Now, there was some world weather body which said that the current situation of the weather, let's make this the baseline for normal. But those of us who have lived for more than a couple of decades, we know that things are not normal right now. Things have changed since what it was before. This is not normal. So, but they want to make this the new normal, but it's only going to keep getting worse. And yeah, there's a saying that what's normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. The spiders normally go around and eat the fly as its food. That's normal for them. But for the fly, that's not normal. It's the end of its life right there. And yeah, normal is also just a setting on your washing machine. So think about that. Are you normal? How much do you try to be normal? There are some people who spend a lot of money and put in so much effort just to get to being normal. So what is normal? This is a great debate which has confused people over millennia, and yeah, they don't know what is normal. The people who do know what is normal are less stressed out about it, and those who are very picky about being normal or doing normal things or dressing normally or looking normal or whatever, they have to go to great extents to fit in that category of normal. Now, yeah, since we're talking about clothes, we can talk about the pineapple and cactus leaves which are being used by this one lady who is making garments, bags, and everything else out of these leaves. Instead of using leather, she's using these plants' leaves. That's making people are enjoying buying these products. There are also other people who are doing sustainable fashion in different ways. So you should definitely Google about it. And yeah, if you choose more sustainable options, then you're the more intelligent human being at the end of the day. If you choose less sustainable options, then well, you're maybe part of the reason why the world is going to end sooner. This is the harsh reality, but if nobody is telling you this, then I think it's important that you need to hear it. So there was one tweet someone put about how you are going to experience climate change. There are a few things that you're going to experience. And some of those things were the heat wave, which we're definitely facing right now. It's like a bar graph. So heat wave was the max. That's the majority of ways that you're going to feel the climate change. Next is tropical cyclones. So the tropical cyclones are going to become even more stronger and devastating and destroy a lot more of your property. And why is that? It's because you started cutting the trees, saying that it's only just one tree. Next was droughts. There's drought where there's no water left over there. That's where you have a drought. Why is that happening? I told you about that aquifer thing happening in Pune. So we're already moving towards the destruction of our planet at a really fast speed, exponentially fast speed. Speed is just increasing, acceleration is way too much. Now the next way you're going to feel the climate change is through a thing called crop failure. Crop failure means all the crops that have been grown to feed your civilization have failed to grow because of the change in weather. And that's what's keeping people alive. But if you're ready to live on box food for the rest of your life, well, even that's not going to last forever, because you can't replenish the canned food once once the source of production is finished. So we need to keep producing more food to keep the human civilization going, and for that we need to put a stop in this climate change. Now, on one hand we were talking about droughts, but on the other hand there's also floods. In many places we're seeing that because of the change in the climate, there are these huge floods happening where cars, buildings, cities are getting washed away because of the floods. And lastly, there was one thing called wildlife. So, no, not wildlife, wildfire. So many forests are catching on fire, and yeah, because of that, all the biodiversity living inside that forest is also getting destroyed, and it's destroying the entire landscape for the people living over there. The local people everywhere, especially in mountain areas, we get to see all these wildfires. There was a wildfire in Australia also, and I think if you've been on the internet that long, you would have known that, you would have seen the pictures from that Australian wildfire which happened a couple of years back. There was even like animals getting stuck, they were getting burnt, they were getting stuck in the barbed wire. So yeah, those were some scary pictures that were coming online. West Bengal is also at an extreme heat index danger. It's getting so hot over there. I saw in Thailand, I think it was Thailand, the temperature has already reached 54 degrees. So in India, I think it was reported 45 or 46 degrees, but 54 degrees in Thailand. They've shut down all the schools, and yeah, they need to worry about keeping the people alive. So why is this happening again? Because everyone just wanted to cut one tree to do their project and make some money for their limited life without thinking about future generations. And now we're suffering the consequences of those decisions made by the people before. Even the ocean temperature has increased. It's at its highest point ever, and since the last 42 days straight, it's like broken the records. So 42 days of breaking the record. It's never been so high ever before. The ocean temperature is also increasing. We are all boiling in this planet, and when winter comes, people with narrow minds think that the global warming has ended, it's global cooling. But even the winters are getting more severe because of the severe weather changes. Anyway, some good news is that the turtles in Odisha, which just hatched recently, they're all swimming back into the ocean now. And yeah, not just a few turtles, there are lakhs and lakhs of them. Just yeah, we saw some pictures, so many of them were just going into the water altogether. That was a good sight to see. The High Court in Bombay, I'm just reading this tweet over here. It said that the High Court in Bombay said that guards who are threatening dogs with sticks is considered as cruelty. I'm trying to find it to get the right words. Can't find what you want when you look for it. Otherwise, it's always there. Okay, never mind. You can Google about it. But this is what I read, and you should check it out too. Nagpur, there's a tree census which has started finally after 12 years. Why am I getting tweets about Nagpur? I don't know. There's so much environment news coming up on my Twitter feed, and I've never even been there. But it's good that they're doing the tree census. In a tree census, you get to know which trees are located where, and if any trees go missing, then they can be replaced. And the trees are also numbered, so if a tree is missing, you can see the number missing. And there's a lot more details you can get out, statistics you can get out once you have the tree census data. You can calculate how many people live in this neighborhood compared to how many trees, right? How many cars are there versus how many trees, which is the tallest tree, which is the fruiting trees, flowering trees. So all this data is important. If you don't know about your environment, then you have less chances of trying to save it. In Pune, there were some awardees, people who won some awards, and they returned the awards because of their environment concerns. This was something related to that Waitel Bakery protest, the forest over there. And yeah, whoever got these awards, they returned their awards because their environment is getting destroyed, and that's what's more important. Now, how much time do we have left? We're already at the 30 minutes mark. But okay, let's see if we can finish the rest of the topics. Now, there's this NGO called LIFE, LIFE, Legal Initiative for Forest and Environment. I think that's the name. And there's a lawyer, Richard Datta. So they're always helping the tribal people to save their villages and from these companies, big companies who are doing illegal work and destroying the environment over there. So this NGO, they were getting some foreign funding also, and because they were helping the local people to fight the legal cases, now there's some case against them for misusing the foreign funds to stop coal projects in India, something like that. So that thing is alarming a lot of people, and many people are tweeting about it because these guys have done some good work, and to see them being charged like this, it was quite shocked the environment people, the environment community. In Bhubaneswar, there's a 17-acre memory forest. So people who want to plant a tree in memory of someone who they've lost in their family, they can plant a tree over there. And I think every city needs a place like this because every city has people dying, and maybe people want to plant trees in their memory. So trees should be planted in a safe space where they're not going to get cut down while no one's watching. So yeah, it's a good thing to plant trees, but to save trees is way more important, because if we don't save the trees, then the trees that we have planted, they don't stand a chance. They'll all get cut down. So we need to learn how to save trees also. In Japan, there was one tree which survived the tsunami out of, I think, 70,000 trees or something. Or 700,000. So one tree which survived, they've put a support structure around it so that it can be immortalized and people can worship that tree for a longer time. Imagine it survived the entire tsunami, it didn't move, but the tsunami was so strong it removed everybody's homes and all the other trees which were rooted in the ground. India has got its first clone cow. So we heard of a sheep which got cloned, I think, in the late 90s. Was it then? I think so. I forgot that sheep's name. So yeah, this first clone cow is called Ganga. So that's a very clever name that they've put. But what does this clone cow mean? That it was born in a test tube? How does that work out? How would you feel if you were born in a test tube? How would your life be different? And what do you think this clone cow is going through right now? What kind of differences mentally would it be feeling compared to the cows born normally? And what is normal again? There was a dog which was killed in Delhi by a gang of people, and there was a video about this also made. So the dog lovers around, they tried to save the dog. They tried to even put a case in the police station, but because the police were refusing so much, they didn't want to do the legal thing. So I don't know, a lot more dog lovers got together, and then finally the police caved in and they finally lodged an FIR, which is a first information report. It's just a first information report which they feel scared to report because then they have to follow way more paperwork after that. I think a couple more things. The Noor Jahan was a elephant in that Karachi zoo which is shut down now. So it was in a really bad health condition, and while the people were taking care of this elephant, now that elephant has finally died and moved to a better place. In its last days, it could not get up, and people were still taking selfies with it, and lying down on top of this elephant, playing with the trunk, things like that. So yeah, it's better that it's not in the hands of those people anymore. Now it's in a better place. Now, yeah, there's a big rice shortage which is going to take place right now because of the way things are going, the way humans have destroyed the planet. Now we have a rice shortage coming up soon. I think it's already started. So those who can afford it will get enough rice, but a lot of people who can't afford it, well, then they're just not going to get it because there's a shortage, and you know how demand and supply works, right? So if there is no supply, then what are you going to do about the demand and the price? So the price is going to increase. The demand, I don't know, those graphs were quite complicated, but if I had them in front of me right now, I would have been able to explain it. Lastly, the Mayflower has started flowering because May is here. It's 4 or 5 days away. So a few people have sent me pictures of the Mayflower, the Amalthus or Cassia fistula. This tree it has yellow flowers which hangs like a chandelier, and yeah, it's just started flowering. It starts flowering in May, that's why they call it the Mayflower. And it's going to be flowering for a couple of months. So right now, Delhi was going through a phase of all the red flowering trees, and now for the next couple of months, we are going to see all the yellow flowering trees. So the color of flowers depends on the season or the weather or temperature. How crazy is that? Or the position of the planet. The last topic for the day is that the fireflies are getting affected by the light pollution. So are there any fireflies around your home now? In Delhi there used to be a lot of fireflies, but now there's only a couple of places where we can see fireflies, and we do some nature walks to take people to see those fireflies. But yeah, if people destroy those places, if there's too many lights over there, then the fireflies cannot survive there. So fireflies, they're seen more in the monsoon. They need a lot of dark area. They need food to eat, so that also has to be there. If there's too many lights, you're not going to see fireflies. Like inside a mall, you can't see it. Even though there's a food court in the mall, there's no food for the fireflies, so the fireflies can't exist in the mall. And yeah, they just need to reproduce and find each other. So that's why fireflies flash their light, to communicate with each other and to fly towards each other. So if you're in Delhi in the monsoon, then come join us for the Fireflies workshop. And that's it for us today. We've exceeded our podcast timing for today, but this exceptions are always allowed, right? Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. So catch you all again next time. Bye bye.